green saddle he wore.
I'm an alien life form from another planet.
You're St. Nicholas.
St. Nicholas knows everything. I know when you're sleeping. I know when you're awake. I know if you've been bad or good. You know, the whole ball of wax.
Howdy folks, Merry friggin' Christmas and welcome back to the Spaghetti Theater Review. What do you think of my ugly Christmas sweater? My soon-to-be wife made it for me. She knits. Sleeveless too. I told her to do that. I thought I would try to get a Christmas-themed review done before actual Christmas, and decided to go with the classic 80s sitcom, ALF. Remember ALF?
Remember Alf? He's back in pod form.
Hopefully I can get this out before Christmas Day, but if I don't, sorry. It's about time. It's about space. So yeah, ALF. That one where the lovable puppet from Melmac with a taste for cats crash lands on Earth after the destruction of his world. Yeah, pretty dark when you think about it. But that's nothing compared to what's to come. So, with his planet and all he ever knew and loved now gone forever, Alf takes refuge on Earth with this typical 80s American family known as the Tanners. No, not that Tanners, this Tanners. Yeah, the 80s had two sitcoms that featured a Tanner family. Weird, maybe? Or not? Who cares? So now, Alf is pretty much forced to make Earth his new home and the Tanners his new family, as he learns to live among humans and adapt to their ways. But at the same time, he's pretty much confined to the Tanner family home, since they want to keep Alf a secret from the world, and particularly the alien task force that's hunting him. So there's that. Yet, with all that, Alf still manages to have all sorts of wacky family adventures with the Tanners in this family sitcom that really took a turn for the serious by diving right into the subject of life and death in this Christmas special. Alf's Special Christmas Special. I loved Alf as a child. Here is a show I remember watching during its original broadcast when I was just a kid, the target audience of this series that had no problem teaching you the harsh realities of life, folks. And to prove my love for this show, I kept this stuffed doll that I got for Christmas way back then. And as you can see, he's gone through some changes since the late 1980s. Yeah, I know. I decided at one point it was a good idea to give Alf a haircut. So yeah, I cut off his awesome Jack Lord wave. I'm sorry about that, Alf. It's been over 30 years! I'm over it now! Thanks, Alf. I am sorry. It is something I do regret now. I'll even let you sit here through the course of the review, since, hey, I owe you. And Merry Christmas. Want some Christmas spirit, Alf? We'll put these on you. What the hell not? Alf will be joining us for this one. Oh, I also have this lunchbox. Pretty cool shit, huh? Yup, as old as the show itself. And it's still in pretty good condition. I even still have the thermos and everything. Check that out. Pretty cool. Alf. And with that, I won't waste any more time and dive right into this Christmas special. This two-part Christmas special that gets dark and depressing real fast. So be prepared, folks. In order to understand the true meaning of Christmas, Alf has to experience the harsh realities of human life and death, and even his own mortality at one point, probably. So Merry Christmas, 80s kids! Alf's gonna teach you a lesson that you won't soon forget about appreciating life. Same way Jigsaw wanted people to appreciate life, only without murdering a bunch of people at the same time. Yeah, I know. Last week, Alf was daydreaming about hosting the Letterman show with Willie, and now he's talking Cleavon Little out of killing himself. No joke! So here it is, my favorite Christmas special ever, because of how I wasn't afraid to get so dark and real, and strike the fear of God into my young, fragile, 8-year-old mind at the time. It's Alf's Special Christmas Special. Now, I know I said that they were trying to keep Alf a secret, and that he was mostly confined to their home. But here we are on the open road as the Tanners take a trip for Christmas. And yup, bring Alf along, who, of course, is annoying the shit out of them the entire time by singing his rendition of the 12 Days of Christmas.
78 cats are boiling,
Enough.
77 cats are sizzling.
All about eating cats, of course. It's his thing. He likes to eat cats, even though we never actually see him ever eat a cat. I guess they didn't trust Alf in their home all alone by himself for all that time. I don't blame him. He's the type to screw that shit up immediately. Which is actually another huge theme of the show. Although Alf is lovable and considered a member of the family, he's also a huge pain in the ass. Particularly to Willie, who's always flipping his shit over Alf's constant shenanigans. He's a pest. On screen and off, I've heard. Yet they love him. Even though he always stole the show away from them. Just like Beetlejuice. But anyway, the Tanners show up at this cool old ass cabin in the woods, where Willie has brought his family and Alf to celebrate Christmas the way he remembers celebrating Christmas from when he was a kid. As he tries to explain to his less enthusiastic family here. Except his son, he actually seems into it.
I think it's neat.
Even though it's very out of date and void of any modern conveniences like an indoor pump that actually works. This is the very same cabin, as a matter of fact, where Willie spent all those memorable Christmas he was talking about, as you probably figured. And he won't stop ranting on about it either.
This is where we put our stockings. And the tree was right over there.
Until he has to go rescue Alf from the outhouse, which he got stuck in.
Help! Help! I'm stuck in the outhouse!
I can only imagine how or where exactly in the outhouse he is stuck in. Gross, Alf. It must be fine though, because after the commercial break, we see Alf helping Willie unload the station wagon. Or more like, watch Willie unload the station wagon as he unloads this huge box that Alf brought along, which turns out to be...
Your color TV!
Yeah, he brought the TV along, because he thought he might get bored. You know, that sounds like something I would have done as a kid.
What's in this one? Your microwave!
Maybe not the microwave, I would have left that to my brother. Only this is all pointless because this cabin is so rustic and old, it doesn't even have electricity.
There is no TV because there is no electricity.
Damn, Willie, are you trying to get your family to hate you? No, he's actually trying to bring them closer together as a family by doing this. But of course Alf doesn't get this. He's a wisecracking puppet from Melmac, right buddy? Shit.
There goes the Perry Como special.
Aw, no Perry Como special too. Alf loves Perry Como. So that sucks. So then Willie goes on to tell his family exactly how this cabin became such an important part of his childhood Christmases. When he was just a kid, his dad lost his job, and then he lost his house.
How do you lose a house?
And was thrown literally out in the cold in the middle of December. Yeah, and left to die. Damn, Willie, sounds like a shitty start to your childhood. Until this guy, a local man named George Foley. Once he heard of this, he offered them this cabin in the woods to stay in, since he seldomly used it and wasn't using it at the time, allowing them to have a sheltered and warm, if not giftless, Christmas. One that Willie remembers more fondly than any other Christmas, unlike his unappreciative 1980s family here. At least less appreciative than Willie is. I never realized what a rough childhood he had. Alf then busts in and totally ruins Christmas with his lack of understanding of our human ways. When he starts singing and wearing this sweater that turns out to be a gift that Willie's wife, Kate, had bought him for Christmas, and Alf is wearing it now.
It's the Christmas present I bought for Willie.
Meaning, yep, he just opened up her gift and helped himself to it, like it was meant for him.
It's the Perry Como look!
Funny, but you've ruined that gift now, Alf, you dick.
Take off the sweater.
Only he's not done being stupid and tells the son, Brian, that he's getting a red bike for Christmas.
It's right in that box next to Brian's bicycle.
Because he also opened up everything else and looked at it too. And to top that all off, he changed all the tags on the presents to read as if they were from him. All of them. Even the one for him.
To Lynn from Alf, to Al from Alf, to Brian from Alf. Did you change these tags?
Dumbass. That's right. But still, the final nail in the Christmas ruining coffin is when they all realize that the bit of holly that Alf gave Willie when he first came in the room,
Here you go, Willie! Hang the holly!
is actually poison oak, because Alf's an idiot and doesn't know the difference between holly and poison oak. Well, neither do I, but still, I just would have picked nothing. But not Alf, as he still jokes about this shit.
Elementary Willie!
Willie then panics and starts flipping his shit because he's furious at Alf now. Again.
You don't understand, do you? You don't understand anything about Christmas.
Waka waka. And orders Alf's stupid furry ass outside to discard of that poison oak that he brought into their lovely cabin home away from home here.
Don't hurry back.
I'm sure Willie's fine though, because it's never brought up again.
Don't hurry back.
That's when this guy shows up and...
It is my privilege to extend a laurel and hearty handshake to our new...
Hot shit, it's Cleavon Little. Yeah, you know, Cleavon Little, the guy from Blazing Saddles.
Hey, where are the white women at?
The Black Sheriff, yeah.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
That movie. He was also in this one Christmas special. And 2 episodes of MacGyver as one of the Colton brothers. Oh, and I almost forgot. Cleavon Little was also in this. Vanishing Point, a movie of which I clearly have on DVD. Then sadly died of colon cancer in 1992. He was only 53, meaning he's only in his late 40s here, but he does seem a little older. It's a real shame though. He didn't get enough good roles after Blazing Saddles. Anyway, here he's playing George Foley. And I'm gonna tell you now, just in case you didn't figure it out on your own already. George Foley is a reference to the name George Bailey, Jimmy Stewart's character from the Christmas classic It's a Wonderful Life. It's either that or he's Axel Foley's dad. So Willie introduces his family to the man who saved his family from freezing to death one winter, and just becoming another statistic in American history to his very own family now that he technically made possible. And boy, is this guy a saint, because his truck outside is also filled with toys. Toys that were originally discarded that he saved and repaired and then hands out for free at a local children's hospital, all while dressed up as Santa Claus.
Not quite, Willie. You see, I deliver the toys to Santa Claus, and he gives them to the children in the hospital.
So yeah, Cleavon Little lives to help others. It's his philosophy of life.
Eat the babe, brother!
Unlike Al, who sneaks into the back of his truck so he can steal gifts for the Tanners. But to be fair, he can't really just go to the local Kmart without getting spotted. Then back in the cabin, Mr. Foley has to leave suddenly when they ask how his wife, Miss Foley, is doing.
Now tell me, how is Mrs. Foley? Any better?
Well, you mustn't keep Santa Claus waiting.
Sensing that something's wrong, Willie stops him before he goes, only to have Mr. Foley remember that he forgot to give him his Christmas gift, that he's not supposed to open until Christmas. Of course. Willie takes it as Mr. Foley quickly continues on his way, gets into his van, and then lays it right on him with this shit.
Margaret passed away 2 weeks ago. I didn't have time to write to everybody.
Yep, his wife died. And then he just bails as Kate has to yell her condolences.
We're so sorry!
Shit, Cleavon Little, that sucks. And you can tell from all this that he's not taking it well. He's clearly a loving and caring man whose wife probably meant the world to him. Wow, Alf, really? Okay. It's a very real part of life, I know. But 1 minute you're writing songs for Lynn like, "You're the one who's out of this world, sweet baby."
You're the one who's out of this world, sweet baby. You're the...
Which was a little weird, by the way. An old-ass alien puppet having a crush on a teenage human girl.
And now we're dealing with death. It was so shocking that I almost forgot when he drove off that he was taking Alf with him too. Because he's still in the back of the truck.
Uh-oh.
So flip, we're at the children's hospital now, where Mr. Foley unloads all the toys, dresses up as Santa, and heads on in to spread Christmas joy to children. Only Alf's coming along for the ride this time, posing as a toy. It's a collision course with wackiness at a children's hospital. I guess. So after the commercial, it's Christmas time at the children's hospital, as Santa Cleavon Little hands out gifts to all the children. What a guy. No one seems to want an Alf doll, though.
Well, James, I got a bat and this funny looking thing.
Pass.
Sorry, man. In that universe, you're hideous, Alf. Even with that Jack Lord hair wave. Even Cleavon Little's not into him.
Here's an ugly looking thing.
One of the first Black Santas, which I also have a figure of, by the way. Yeah, check that shit out. This actually belongs to my fiancée, soon-to-be wife. Go, Black Santa! First Black Sheriff and first Black Santa. Maybe. Way to go, Cleavon Little!
Well, let's play chess.
So Alf's the only toy left. Here, I'll give you somebody to hang out with this time. The toy that no one wanted. Lucky for him, I guess, until this girl shows up, very interested in Alf.
I think she's beautiful.
Since he's all that's left, pretty much. Santa Cleavon Little even brings it right to her room. So this little girl is Tiffany, a kind, sweet, innocent little kid who names Alf Amanda. And as we see, this girl Tiffany has quite the imagination.
My name is Tiffany, and I'm 8 years old. How old are you, Amanda?
And treats Amanda Alf as if she were a real friend, as Alf, plays dead the whole time, even after being crushed by the bed itself. So enter the nurse who comes in to check on Tiffany's temperature, whose look says, well, nothing good. It almost says, this kid's fucked. But she is nice enough to tickle the kid's fancy and check Amanda Alf's temperature too. He's fine, I'm sure. So it's seemingly bedtime, only Tiffany's really interested in her new friend Amanda Alf and gets up and just starts carrying on a conversation with her as a girl would do with a doll, only this is Alf, so it's a little weird. And wacky! She thinks he's a she. She even starts having a tea party with him and Alf sneaks in a cookie. A cat-flavored cookie, no doubt. Huzzah! She even tries a little girl gossip with him. Like, who's the best TV hunk of 1987?
Who's your favorite TV star? Mine too. He is such a hunk.
To an 8-year-old girl? 1987, man. I don't know. I guess if I had to pick one off the top of my head, I guess Corey Haim from the short-lived series Roomies? Who the hell knows? She never actually says who. I'd say A.C. Slater, but that wasn't until 89. Tiffany then goes on to tell Amanda Alf about a roomie she used to have, whose parents separated them so they wouldn't get too close.
Her mother was afraid she might get depressed if we became friends and...
Yeah, they're hinting to something here, as I'm sure you can see. Something not good. Like death again. Tiffany then tries to put pink earrings on Alf, but this is the last straw. Alf can't hold himself back anymore, and it was the pink earrings that did it. He breaks his silent mode and comes clean.
Hold it. This is where I draw the line.
And is sure to point out that he's a boy, not a girl.
My name is Alf, not Amanda. I'm a boy.
So knock out this Amanda shit. And of course, this talking stuffy thing only impresses Tiffany more. Wanting to keep Alf and tell everyone about him, Alf's forced to come totally clean about who he really is and how he's not actually a stuffy come to life, but an alien from a dead world. So she agrees to return him to Santa Cleavon Little so he can hitch a ride back to the Tanner's cabin away from home. Hopefully. So then we cut to this guy, Tiffany's doctor, Dr. Willoughby, like the Twilight Zone town. I wonder if they did that on purpose. Santa Cleavon Little then gives him a cash donation for Christmas for the Children's Hospital that he's not to open until Christmas, of course, like with Willie. And Santa Cleavon Little managed to give away all the toys too. Well, except for Alf, who was never a toy to begin with. Dr. Willoughby then starts talking about how someone told Tiffany that there was no Santa Claus.
One of the other little kids told her there's no such thing as Santa.
And so what did Dr. Willoughby tell little Tiffany? Well, he simply read her from the classic tale of, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. And even has Santa Cleavon Little read from it too.
Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus.
Most famous newspaper editorial of all time.
Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus was an editorial printed in the Sun newspaper back in 1897. An 8-year-old girl named Virginia O'Hanlon asked her father if Santa was real after her little friends told her that Santa wasn't real. Her dad's answer was not good enough, I guess, and after hearing him say, if you read it in the Sun News, then it must be true. So then Virginia wrote a letter to the Sun newspaper simply asking the question, is there a Santa Claus? Then, on September 21st, 1897, her letter was answered in this short editorial. It became a huge hit, and eventually the most famous editorial of all time. After continuous reprints and translations into other languages, just so the whole world could enjoy this. The editorial was written by Francis Pharcellus Church, who remained anonymous until his death.
He looks like Wyatt Earp.
And in researching this, I read the entire editorial, of course. And boy, it really is good. And just as relevant today, in my opinion. I can see why it was such a hit. It's filled with so much hope and faith in the imagination, so that it really is real. And I highly recommend it. But anyway, back to Alf, as Santa Cleavon Little starts to see why Doc Willoughby showed him this powerful editorial from a book and not an iPhone, cause it's still the 80s, baby! When...
Tiffany? I can't do anything for her. What are you supposed to say to a little girl who's not gonna see another Christmas?
Yup, Alf hears this too. This shit just got real. Yeah, this 8-year-old girl is dying from an incurable disease and has very little time left. And this will probably be her last Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone! It's Alf! What the hell are you trying to do to me, Alf? I was exactly 8 years old when this episode originally aired back in 1987. Thanks for showing me the dark realities of life, you cute, cuddly alien from Melmac, you. Any chance we can just get back to you annoying the shit out of Willie at the Tanner home? But no, this is late 80s TV. They actually did this sort of shit a lot back then, if I remember correctly. On occasion at least, now that I think about it. So after hearing this news, Alf is shocked and goes right back to Tiffany's room to comfort her a little more, I guess.
Alf!
Now that he knows she's dying, and this will be her last Christmas. Damn you for making me cry, Alf! Man, you just made the list! I'm putting you right under that Futurama episode where Fry's dog waits his entire life for Fry to return, and never does. Well, until they killed it with the TV movies. But I ain't counting that. Damn it, Alf, how dare you play with my emotions. Back to the show, where we see Tiffany has drawn a picture of Alf, and even pokes fun at his big-ass nose. It is one of your most noticeable features.
Well, where's my nose?
I didn't have enough room on the page.
So Alf then notices that she also drew herself in the picture, and she drew herself with wings on, like an angel going to heaven.
You're wearing wings.
Damn it, Alf, I'm warning you.
The wings are just...
They're beautiful.
Beautiful. You really are a sensitive alien puppet, you are. This is a bit more difficult than you trying to convince Lynn to stop dating Murdoch, isn't it, Alf? Way to go. Alf then tells her about Melmac and how it was destroyed, and his entire life and all his loved ones are dead, so he can sort of relate, I guess. Alf does point out the positive outcome though, by crash landing into the Tanner's garage, where he was taken in and shown love and companionship again and given a home. So it's not all bad. Alf's actually been through a lot of shit for a little alien puppet, and he still forges on with life, instead of just offing himself like some people would do. Way to go, Alf! Chalk up another victory for the human spirit. Well, the alien spirit. The tired point is then made that the whole point of Christmas is not that of the giving and receiving of gifts, but about giving yourself to others to help life be more bearable. Like they said in the damn editorial, man. It's a good message of positivity and helping one another. And believing in the magic, even though logic tells you it's all a bunch of shit. Fuck logic, it's Christmas! You hear that shit, Spock?
Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho.
Aw, see? Even the logical Mr. Spock can get into the spirit. Plus, this is a show about a talking alien puppet. We said bye-bye to logic a long time ago. So cut away from that children's hospital and let's check back in with the Tanners. Back at the cabin, where Willie has opened Mr. Foley's Christmas gift, even though he told him to wait till Christmas. And the gift turns out to be the deed to that very cabin, with a note with it telling him to enjoy many, many more Christmases in this cabin, cause it's yours now. Wow, Cleavon Little, an entire cabin? That's quite the gift, and Willie agrees. It's too much.
No, we can't accept the gift of this cabin. Mr. Foley hardly knows me. What can he be thinking of?
Why would he do that? George Foley. What's going on with you Out Wonders? But no time to think about that because they finally have realized that Alf is missing now.
Has anyone seen Alf?
Really? It took him that long? He's had half an adventure already. So back to the Children's Hospital where they really lay on the depression. When little Tiffany starts talking about being afraid of dying.
I'm gonna have to move on to another world too. And there's nothing anyone can do about it. And I'm afraid to go, Alf. I know I'm not supposed to be afraid, but I can't help it.
It's all right to be afraid.
Really, Alf? Really? I'm 8. I get it now, okay? Shit, I'm gonna die at any moment, you puppet asshole. I can't believe my mother wouldn't let me watch the A-Team. But here's Alf with life lessons about death as a child. Alf even tries to comfort Tiffany with hopes of a better hereafter. And none of that Beetlejuice shit.
You'll have to wait if you don't have an appointment.
An appointment with who?
Where shit like this just doesn't happen anymore. A place where everyone is like Alf. And commercials that fill you with rage don't exist anymore.
There is such a thing as too much of a good thing.
Too much of a good thing indeed. I like it though. So Alf and Tiffany say their final I love yous as Tiffany goes to sleep and Alf leaves. But not before showing us what an emotional Melmacian he really is. As we see a single tear roll down his cheek for this dying child that he befriended on this unexpected trip to a children's hospital. That only happened because Alf was trying to steal toys out of Cleavon Little's van. So cut to the Tanners who are now searching the woods at night for Alf. But to no avail. Of course, we know where he is. Willie starts getting cold and wants to head back, but his kids are determined to find Alf. Don't worry kids, Alf's not a total dumbass.
Yeah, he's had a good life.
He'll be fine. He did pilot a spaceship capable of space travel right into your garage. So I'm sure he can survive on his own. So flip back to the Children's Hospital, where we see Alf trying to sneak out without being spotted. Then enter the pregnant lady, and her just as panicky as Rob Petrie from the Dick Van Dyke Show husband, when his wife was having a kid. It's another collision course with wackiness. Does this really happen? Your wife's about to have the baby, and the husband loses his shit, turns into a total dumbass, goes right into idiot mode, and wants to document everything? Because in 200 years, people are going to want to see pictures of this common as hell shit. And what do you know? Dr. Willoughby is the only doctor on duty in this hospital, because he's taking care of this shit too. So back to Alf, who hides under this stretcher, which, yup, they used to load the pregnant lady onto. Waka waka! I sense a collision course with wackiness coming. Good, we need it after that dying kid stuff. So, as they all try to get their shit together, and Dr. Willoughby tries to sedate this wiry husband, the elevator door closes with the pregnant lady trapped inside. But hey, remember, Alf's in there too. Almost forgot? I did. I'm stupid. So, as the elevator's going up, it comes to a sudden halt. Cause, of course, it's stuck now.
The elevator's stuck.
The collision course with wackiness has landed, so Doc Willoughby calls for the only handy man around that he can think of. It's Santa Cleavon Little to the rescue, with his box of tools. Cause if he can repair busted toys, he can fix an elevator too. And you better hurry cause she's about to poop out a baby. And there's no doctor in there. Or is there? Enter Dr. Gordon Shumway.
Dr. Gordon Shumway.
Yeah, Gordon Shumway is Alf's real name. They just call him Alf for short. Alien life form, anyone who's seen Alf knows this. Right, Gordon? So, at the sight of Dr. Shumway, this pregnant lady screams her head off. Naturally. Who wouldn't? Not what she was expecting. It must be the drugs she told them not to give her.
No sedatives or painkillers. I want to be completely awake and aware of everything.
Alf just rolls with this thing and pretends to be a doctor. even though he's clearly clueless when it comes to delivering a baby.
Exactly where do babies come from? Hey, I'm not married!
He's not married. See, that explains everything. So cut back to Cleavon Little, who can't get the elevator running again cause he repairs toys, not elevators. So he just suggests that they go up one floor and try to get in through the elevator's ceiling trap door that all elevators have, according to movies and TV, I guess. And I would assume real life, I hope. So back to Alf as the baby just says, "Fuck it, I'm coming out."
What's happening?
And Alf is forced to console this lady as the baby, I guess, delivers itself. Cause when we cut back to the nutty husband, we can hear the baby crying through the wall as he's heading upstairs to rescue his wife. So too late there.
Sam!
You failed, you raw Petri hybrid.
Sam!
None of this baby's birth was documented. This marriage is over. And boom, cut back to inside the elevator, where the baby has been successfully delivered by Alf, I guess. Nothing was shown.
No wonder there's money in medicine.
We're not ready for the horrors of a messy childbirth, I guess. Just the beauty of it. Thank you for that, Alf. It levels off the show with that whole dying child thing, like I said before. To show a life coming into the world as opposed to leaving it, I guess. So even though horrified by this experience, Alf and this lady have a nice moment together. That ends with Alf convincing her to name the child Tiffany.
How about Tiffany?
Aww, Alf, you sweetheart, you. He's an emotional alien, he really is. So flash forward to Santa, Cleavon Little, and Alf getting ready to leave the hospital when Doc Willoughby stops him and, like Willie, has opened his Christmas gift early, suspecting that something was up with Mr. Foley, because apparently Mr. Foley has donated his entire life savings to this children's hospital. Only why? Dr. Willoughby senses where this is leading and begs for Mr. Foley to return tomorrow so they can discuss this shit. Mr. Foley just tries to blow him off when Doc Willoughby mentions him losing his wife, Margaret.
Sometimes when people lose a loved one, I know what Margaret meant to you.
This hits him hard enough to just wish Dr. Willoughby a Merry Christmas and then bail the hell out of there. So, as a kid, you may not have picked up on it yet, but it sounds like Mr. Foley plans on killing himself. Not a pleasant thought, I know. He gave his cabin away and all of his money 2 weeks after his beloved wife died. How sad and depressing. Damn it, Alf! You just made up for this shit with that delivering of the baby thing. Then you throw this suicidal saint of a man shit at me. Come on, Alf. So we cut back to Willie real quick, as he helps his son Brian put his new bike together.
Slip disc washer. Slip disc.
And assures him that even though he's worried about Alf, Alf will be back. Perhaps. Maybe. We can only hope. Unless Alf decides to kill himself too after experiencing all this depressing shit. So quick, cut back to Alf, who's waiting it out in the back of Cleavon Little's van as he drives alone listening to Christmas music on the radio. Alf's about to get a real treat too with some Perry Como music.
Here's Perry Como singing Toyland,
who he loves so much.
There goes the Perry Como special. It's the Perry Como look.
But Cleavon Little's like, fuck that shit. I hate Perry fucking Como. And turns that radio right off. Magic moments my ass. Papa hates Mambo. Go find the wheel, make it go round, 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 cause it's time for Cleavon Little to kill himself. And what do you know? He's gonna do it from the same bridge that George Bailey did it from in It's a Wonderful Life. It's another charming reference to this Christmas classic. The Suicide Bridge. That's what it should be known as by now. Merry Christmas, everyone! So Cleavon Little starts to climb the bridge, ready to thrust himself into cold waters below, instead of just shooting himself in the head.
Isn't anybody gonna help that poor man?
When Alf steps in to stop him.
Help me!
All dressed up as Santa too. And even though this puppet is talking to him, he still plans on going through with it.
Nice night, isn't it?
Get out of here and leave me alone.
Until Alf calls him by his name, George Foley.
Don't do it, George!
Which is when he recognizes Alf as that same toy that's been following him around all day. The one that Tiffany didn't want. Alf just tells him the truth too, which of course he doesn't believe.
I'm an alien life form from another planet.
Thinking this is all happening in his wild ass Cleavon Little imagination, and thinks Alf is St. Nicholas cause, well, the clothes I guess? Doesn't explain everything else about him. Alf then just rolls with this being Santa thing and uses it too, to his advantage, to convince Cleavon Little of what a good and important man he is.
St. Nicholas knows everything. I know if you've been bad or good. You know, the whole ball of wax.
Classic Alf. The whole ball of wax. Good one, Alf. That's classic you. Santa needs people like him. And he gives him examples too, like how he helped Willie's dad.
You made it possible for Brian Tanner to experience a Christmas like the one his father's remembered his whole life.
And of course, the way he helps out all those children at the Children's Hospital on Christmas.
And you brought a smile to the face of a dying child.
And of course, Blazing Saddles.
And now, for my next impression, Jesse Owens. See them!
Snap, like George Bailey, he really is a great man, whose life touched so many others, and spread his love and positivity across the lands. Alf even mentions about him losing his wife, and how he can relate to such a loss. It's like losing your whole world.
Margaret is gone. You feel like you lost your whole world.
Which Alf did. Literally. So then we get to hear the sad version of the Alf theme, as Alf hits it home with the true meaning of Christmas. Togetherness and the giving of yourself to others. The very point that Cleavon Little made.
You know, Christmas isn't about presents. It's about giving of yourself.
Christmas is not about what you can get, but what you can give of yourself.
So cut this out and climb down from that bridge, Cleavon Little. You're making a German spectacle of yourself. All of this convinces Cleavon Little to give life a second chance. And give Alf a ride home already. That's primarily why he saved your life.
And I can't afford to lose you. So let's get this truck on the road. Come on. Got things to do.
Doesn't want to walk, the lazy alien. And since the North Pole is a little too far away, he has him drop him off at the cabin where Willie's staying. And makes up some cover story about wanting to recruit Willie as one of his elves or some shit.
Then take me to see Willie Tanner. I've been thinking about recruiting him.
So once there, Cleavon Little rolls down the window to wish St. Nicholas a Merry Christmas, and does this head-tilting thing.
Merry Christmas, Nick!
And just watches on, because he's never seen how Santa gets down a chimney, and is real curious about that.
And to all a good night. Good night.
Good luck.
So cut to inside the cabin, where the Tanner family begins to think that this might be the worst Christmas ever.
This is the worst Christmas ever.
With Alf being missing and all. That is until they hear a pitter-patter on the roof. They then hear something coming down the fireplace when, yay! It's Alpha Claus! Merry Christmas! Alf's back and everything's wacky again. Thank the heavens.
Merry Christmas.
Time to go have another fantasy about visiting Gilligan's Island or something. But nope, when we get back from the commercial, we're back at the Children's Hospital again, where we see Cleavon Little as himself now, keeping Tiffany company. And she doesn't seem to realize that he was also Santa, even though she does recognize his voice.
You look so familiar. And your voice is so familiar.
But not the point though. If she believes in Santa, they were two different people anyway. So go, Black Santa! You badass motherfucker, you! It's my kind of Santa. Hey, Black Santa. Is it true what they say that you're gifted in certain areas? It's true! It's true! It's true! It's true! I'm just fucking around. That's when the Tanners show up to visit Tiffany because of the connection they have through a mutual friend.
I think we have a mutual friend.
That's when Willie brings up the matter of the cabin deed to Cleavon Little, who's glad to take it back now that he doesn't plan on offing himself.
Then I'll just hang on to this and invite you all back next year.
Hey-o! So that all worked out, thank God. Then we get the big goodbye. They couldn't end it without one more attempt to get you to start bawling tears. You won't let this go, will you, Alf? That's when Tiffany goes to the window and looks down to see Alf waving up at her from the Tanner's car since he can't come into the hospital. In this sad wave goodbye forever, because this is the last time Alf's ever going to see her. As we hear Cleavon Little read from Yes, Virginia, There Is a Santa Claus one more time.
To make tolerable this existence, eternal light with which childhood fills the world, be extinguished.
Then fade out to this dedication to a crew member who worked in the show who also died that year, followed by another dedication to this 8-year-old girl named Tiffany, who the Tiffany from the episode was based on, who also died that year at the age of 8 years old. Wow, Alf, that's the saddest shit I've ever seen you do, man. And I love you for it, man. But can we get back to the wacky adventures of you just fucking around with the Alchemonics or something? And that's it, folks. That's the end of Alf's Special Christmas Special. Season 2 finale back in 1987 that I never forgot, as you can see why. I was born the same year as that girl Tiffany who died. I always remembered that. And with that, I'll move on to my final thoughts on this very emotional Alf Christmas Special, where Alf touched hard on the subject of death and touched our hearts at the same time. You go, boy. He did all this by visiting sick children with little time to live, and then helped people who had lived years and were tired of life's bullshit and wanted to just commit suicide.
Mongo only pawn in game of life.
Then they shoved the birth of a new life in the middle of all that, just to tone it down a bit and show the positives of life too. It was quite the episode, and the one I remember the most. Besides the final episode, which was a depressing cliffhanger, where Alf's about to be captured by the alien task force, and then the show was just cancelled. Until years later and they came up with Project Alf, but that didn't really answer anything.
And if I remember right, Alf did deal with death on another occasion when the cat, Lucky, died. There was a whole episode based around that.
Now the cast of Alf really didn't do much after Alf was cancelled. A few roles here and there, but most of them fizzled out of acting once Alf was cancelled. I think Max Wright, who played Willie Tanner, probably had the biggest success, if that's saying anything, than the rest of the actors. He had a lot of character actor roles over the years. And sadly, he's the only one who's passed on now. But will always primarily be remembered for playing the dad on Alf. As for the guest stars, well, I pointed out Cleavon Little already, who will always be the Black Sheriff from Blazing Saddles. Everyone will remember him for that. So here's to you, Cleavon Little. Your life was cut too short, but I did always enjoy you in the few things that I saw you in. But Blazing Saddles will always be your crowning achievement. May you rest in peace.
Eat the babe, brothers!
And the girl who played Tiffany was in the show Our House, starring Wilford, Quaker Oats, Diabetes Brimley. I think she played one of the daughters on there. I remember this show. I didn't really watch it, but she did do many episodes of that show. But all around, this is not the type of Christmas special that you're used to. It's far more depressing and real. But still very good, and still my favorite TV Christmas special ever. Because it dared to be so real, on a show about an alien puppet trying to live in suburbia. So I'll end it on that note by wishing everyone a Merry Christmas. Appreciate what you have, and believe in the world of the imagination, because it just might be more important than you think. Thanks again to everybody watching. Adios for now, and I'll see you at the theater. Come on, Alf, let's go. You too, Black Santa. We'll go have a few drinks together or something. Celebrate this holiday shit.
You're the one who's out of this world. Sweet baby, you're the one who's out of this world. I'm spinning in an orbit.
Take off the sweater.
We'll head them off at the pass! Head them off at the pass? I hate that cliche. Good luck!